Well, here we are again.
Back
Welcome
again.
back to Access Harleywood. I'm Harley Wallen here with Rob Holland. And because of everything going on in the media today and lately, we've been consumed with the indictment and all the things that are happening. So what we decided to do was to not talk about it. So that way you have one show that's not going to talk about it and
This
not
is a
have an opinion on it.
political-free.
Oh, goodness Lord. Yeah, I think we need to find these politically free zones
Yes,
now.
I agree.
Like they used to say, or it says outside of schools, drug-free zone. We need to have political free zones. What's going on?
Well,
What's new?
I think the other big news other than that is the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker tomorrow is being released. Are you gonna go see it?
I will go see it. I'm not going to rush out to it, but I definitely will
Yeah.
go see it. The title just makes me. I mean, it brings me back to childhood. I was definitely a young Luke Skywalker
Yeah.
growing up, and it's really funny because later on in my life, as a breakdancer, Two Life Crew had a guy named Luke Skywalker,
Yes.
and there was
Uncle
a
Luke.
completely different Skywalker.
Yeah.
He actually owned a pink club in South Beach, Miami, and I hung out with him there.
Oh, man.
Really cool. And I saw Public Enemy live a couple times, and I saw Two Life Crew a couple times when I was down there. Really, really
That had to be wild.
interesting. Oh my God, it's awesome! It is so much fun. But hey, today we have a really interesting topic. We did acting for a topic, and auditioning is such a tricky thing for an actor that I wanted to make sure that we touched on it so that we can get maybe some tips to an
Yes.
emerging actor, and also for filmmakers that do casting calls. I see this all the time, and I used to probably make a lot of the mistakes that we're going to touch on. So we have a couple of guests, the first guest is about to come in, and I met her before. Let's have her come in. This is Miss Mrs. Miss Mrs. Katie Wallen.
Mrs. Katie Wallen. So you two know each other.
Yes, yeah. It was her birthday yesterday,
I saw
so
that. I saw
so
happy
we'll have to say
birthday.
happy birthday.
Do we need to sing or do we want to keep viewers?
We keep viewers definitely. But many people might not know this, but Katie is when we make films, she's either the casting coordinator or the casting director on all of our films. So let me tell you right out of the gate, if you are an actor and you send me an email, I'm the wrong person. I am not going to screen the 743 auditions sent our way. Sorry, just not going to do it. But I would love to hear some thoughts about the person who has to weed through all this. So I want to keep the conversation with you if we can stay on. I would love to hear your touches and things from an acting perspective, but I am probably a little bit more interested in, from a filmmaking and casting director standpoint, what are some of the things that are pet peeves and are really important to you? So let's start with the beginning. So a casting call has been made and you've issued a casting call. What's the first thing that you want an actor to pay attention to? Are you? Try
Can you
that
hear
again.
me? Oh.
Now I hear.
There we are.
All right. First thing I want you to do is I want you to read through the casting call.
So you don't want me to send you a message and ask a question that's answered in the casting call?
I do not. I do
called
not.
Okay,
Read
yeah.
the instructions, please. There's so many auditions that come in, and I'm sitting there watching these videos. I send out instructions. You read through the instructions and make sure that the question that you are considering asking me isn't in the instructions.
Yeah.
The answer is not in the instructions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
obviously.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying here is if it says you have to have like an MOV file, right?
Mhm.
Send me an MOV file.
Well, let's actually touch on that again because I know that we don't do MOV files. We do unlisted YouTube links
Yes.
only because an MOV file could have a virus. So if it says a YouTube file, make sure you don't send an MOV file
Yeah.
because
Right.
that we and your mailbox when you get this many auditions will get bogged down and you're going to have to
Yes.
clear up memory, which is a nightmare to deal
Yes.
with. So on the receiving end, and again, if some people maybe want that, but make sure you follow whatever the instructions are
Yes.
of the casting call.
Please do. And ask me anything. I will be willing to sit down, if you want to call me, or not all the casting directors have that, but I am open to that. If there's any questions you have about characters, I'm there for you if you need any input. But when it comes down to the process of watching these auditions, there's a few things that you find.
Hang on here, you're getting way ahead of
I'm-
yourself.
I
You're
am
not
getting-
answering questions here.
All right, let's
So let's keep it focused.
Yes.
So again, let's go back to the actors. So I'm an actor. I read the casting call, and because this, I remember this happening, and I remember you bitching about it. So I'm gonna bring this one up. How about if I'm an actor and I send you my IMDb link, and then I go, oh, I should probably send her my resume, and then I send you my resume in a separate email, and then I send 3 pictures that are selfies in another email later on. How does that affect your job
Send it all together
in one email?
in one email and have the email labeled correctly.
Oh God!
I would imagine that was in the directions that you
Yes.
mentioned before too,
It's
to not do that.
It's in the directions. Read through the directions, the
Yeah,
instructions.
I mean, we could have made a really short show and just said, "Hey guys, just read the directions for your audition." I mean, and that would have summed a lot of it up. But I don't know why it's so hard for people to do that. And I think the creative side of things on people, maybe they get excited and
Yeah.
they skip. But the things as far as being open to talking to people about characters and all that stuff, it's kind of cool to have somebody that can answer some questions about it. Absolutely, when you have the opportunity to do that as an actor, do it. But still remember that they have a ton of things in front of them that they're juggling, and if you become too time consuming or too annoying, or ask these redundant things, or don't follow the instructions, that can definitely backfire.
Yeah, I would think
Yes.
that would fall into a work ethic, even point of view for you guys from the start of if they can't get this together, what are
Yeah.
they going to be like on set, which was a whole different topic. But
Yeah.
yeah, be prepared and put the effort in.
Yeah, and I actually remember the labeling thing. We had somebody that sent something. Well, I'm sure this happened more than once, but somebody that sent something in a label that wasn't appropriate, or somebody that messaged me saying, "Hey, I'd love to audition for this," and then I said, "Cool," because it has nothing to do with me, and then they were mad at you for not having something for them to audition, or you didn't send me sides or whatever it was. So those are some of the things that we've seen as well. So I think the point person is crucial. Even if if Rob is making the movie, doesn't matter. Don't email him if he says to email Kaiti,
Right.
because Katie's clearly, this is her job, and to go around her will only undermine her, and it will give you a chance of not getting the right information that you need, which is obviously not good.
Right.
Or if you ask for send out a pages or whatever, and again, my inbox has a gazillion things in it, and I may or may not like. Don't bug me with something that's not on my plate. My plate's already over full. Don't need more on it. What else do you have to say in regards to the audition itself? Like, from an acting perspective, and from a casting director, what do you look for in a performance? What's your criteria?
I need to believe you.
So, truth.
So truth is the biggest thing. And the reason is because if you don't believe who you are, the screen or the camera is going to pick up on that.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter if you're a theater actor or a screen actor, if you have truth, make things interesting. That's another thing. Making things interesting is, I watch so many auditions.
And they all feel the same
And
after a while.
sometimes stuff just gets to where things don't stand out, But if something stands out, I'll remember that.
Yeah.
And when I keep going through the rest of them, I can keep going back to that.
Yeah.
And that's when I find however many people we have for options as each character.
Yeah.
To bring forth towards the table to, see what we can do. And
Yeah, to be essentially selected.
Yeah.
To be, yeah. So generally, how it works, at least for us, when we produce a film, is that you get the whatever hundreds of auditions in, and by the way, it's not that we don't like you while you're not getting a role. It's because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people auditioning for the same role.
Yes.
Right.
And I've had a guy who actually was in a movie, and I'm not going to mention him, but he actually asked me, he's like, I've been auditioning for quite a few films with you guys now, and I've never gotten a role. Should I stop? Do you guys not like me? And I was like, he must thinks that I have 11 auditions for 9 roles, because that's not how it works at all.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's something really, really small that makes me pick you over you, that nobody would even know. Sometimes it's stuff completely out of the control. I believe on Abstruse, the best audition for one of the call girls, did not get a role at all
Yep.
because the fit with the other people, she was a little bit older.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just didn't fit.
Yeah. And you see, now that you're talking about fit, there's a few things that we do.
That's what I was asking
Yeah.
about earlier.
The few things that we do look into is the truth, but screen presence and what you look like next to the other characters that you're playing across. Because, like you're
Yeah,
saying here.
I want to slow you down again.
Yeah,
You're rushing off with
sorry.
this.
There's so
the-
much
the-
to say.
So the things, yeah, but let's keep one thing at a time. So
Yeah.
we talk about truth. Obviously, most people understand what that means. That means that I have to believe you when if you say that you're a ninja. I look at you and I'm like, I don't know. Until I see a ninja move, then I believe you. If you say that, hey, I'm the heavyweight champion of the world in boxing, I'm like, no, you're not. So it's really important to fit the role, but fit goes beyond just fitting the role. It goes into the rest of the casting, which is why I brought up Abstruse, because the best call girl was amazing. But once we decided on Chris and Dennis and that look, we needed the call girl to fit them.
In that group.
Yeah.
And she just didn't. So she ended up without a role in the whole film, and she was, one of the best auditions, period, and definitely one of the best auditions. She was the best audition for the call girls, and one of the better auditions for the whole film.
Yeah.
Now,
Definitely.
do you, when you're looking at all these tapes, and maybe I'm getting ahead, do you do kind of like a playoff system? Do you wind it down, or are you cases, you take note of these ones, you just keep winding down till you find the one, or is it where sometimes you just find one and they fit?
It's a
Or will you go-
process. It is the process of elimination, really. With what I do is the first thing I look for is truth. And the reason is because if I can't believe you, like I said, the camera doesn't believe you. I don't just.
So they're cut right away.
Yes.
So the people that don't make the truth cut,
Right.
they're gone.
That's the first level.
Yeah. And then what?
And then after that, it's what I can see with screen presence and your fit.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have auditioned for a detective role, but I could see you fit more as like the criminal or the villain or whatever. So it's like, all right, I could see that. So I have options for, each of these people that I see with the truth. And then from that, it's what works with each character, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So who you're playing across from,
The
Okay.
chemistry between
each person.
and fitting them. You'd like you can't have a really really short girlfriend and a super tall boyfriend, because on screen that's going to look really goofy. Which is why Tom Cruise and whatever else, they have their platforms and their and you know
Yeah.
that this is true. This is really
Need
how it
some
works,
Lord of the
and
Ring
they
effect.
cast around that too.
Right.
Yes.
So the villain is going to be bigger to look scary and imposing, and they're going to shoot him little. So that does happen, and unless they want to portray the imagery of a Nicole Kidman next to him,
Right.
no pun intended that they were once upon a time an item, but
Does it make sense though on screen?
yes,
Right.
Does it make sense in their chemistry, right?
Yes.
You have to be able to believe them. Otherwise, if they don't connect, the audience gets pulled out. And they may not even realize they're getting pulled out, but they could just say, it just didn't pull me and grab me.
yeah,
And that's how if the film has impacted them or not, right?
yeah.
So there's so much that goes into play with just that. So I hit.
So we did truth, we did fit now,
Right.
fitting the role and fitting the cast,
Mhm.
and then the last thing, screen presence.
Screen presence. It's so funny. This is probably the funnier of all the three things, because seeing somebody on screen is different than seeing the person in real life.
Oh,
Sometimes,
absolutely.
like, people look different on screen than they look in real life sometimes, and depending on how you shoot this audition, right? If
I've been to auditions for a movie where they didn't have a camera, and I was like, are they doing a theater ensemble that I didn't know about? Like, why would
you
you
read the
not put it on
directions?
camera?
Did you read the instructions?
No, but it blows my mind that you have essentially a theater audition for a film.
Yeah. Because you think you'd want to see what you look like on camera. They'd want to see that.
I even see that with some directors that I know that don't watch a monitor; they watch the theater, and I'm like, I get seeing the setting and yada yada, but you really want to check the monitor. You want to see what you're shooting. But anyway, sorry.
No, I like hearing this stuff though. It's great. But anyways, people can look different on screen than they look in real life. So it can be like a 19-year-old boy can look mature enough with a beard to look like he could be in his late 20s. And then you have, like, you know what I mean? So there's like so many things with that, but yeah, screen presence is the other.
Well, I think we should kind of explain what screen presence is. So
Okay.
so I'll take this so we don't go to Rambleville. So screen presence is one of them funny things that, like, when you see a person on screen, there are some people you see on screen and you watch and you check your phone and say, and you don't know why, they just don't have you. There are some people when they're on screen, you can't stop watching. That's why they're in so many things. There's certain people that are you watch and it's like it just takes you, and
Screen
you can't stop
presence.
watching. That's
Yeah.
screen presence.
Screen presence draws the audience. That's
You-
what screen presence is.
The trick with screen presence, and this is one of them things that's hard to tell an actor, you can affect it, but very little. You either
Yeah.
have it or you don't. It's that it factor, it thing
Mm-hmm.
that's not universal. So if you're a 7, you can probably make a 9, but you can't really turn the dial a whole lot. Either you're interesting or you're not.
Right.
And I think some of that comes from real life of being just comfortable, because acting in and of itself, the minute you become self-conscious, you
Yes.
can't act, because you get that third eye that we
Mm-hmm.
talked about in the acting thing. So which one would you say is the most important?
Truth.
It's funny. I do agree, but Sanford Meisner says, if truth is boring, I'd rather watch interesting.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
There is something to that,
And
but
I agree, but I wouldn't sacrifice. I wouldn't either. You definitely do need truth. I would agree with you. But devil's advocate, he would probably say, if it's not interesting, we're moving on. So what are some of the other things that you're looking for? Should I be doing my audition with the washer and dryer running in the background?
Oh no.
Should I have a window behind me and you can see the cars driving by, or
funny.
my kids running around? Tell me some stuff that's important.
Do you, to kind of add to that too, should they dress kind of to influence the part? Not necessarily like if it's a police officer role to wear a police uniform, no costume, but do you?
For that, I would say it. I mean, it definitely helps, but I would not hold that against you. If you want to dress the character, it shows me that you're prepared to an extent, right? It's a tricky subject because it's very like people. I mean, they're busy. You have life, all right. Things happen, right? And I would rather get a quality audition tape
Oh yeah,
and deal like with the lighting and the sound and the background.
yeah.
Okay, I'd rather those three than worrying about what you're wearing.
I agree.
So that's my 2 cents in that.
Yeah. Any do's or don'ts that you can think of off the top of your head in an audition?
Besides not following instructions.
No, yeah, I'm talking about in the audition itself.
Yeah. As for the audition itself, I let go. Don't be so stressed out about whether or not you get it because, like you have said, it could be the best audition and the person not get the role
I
or
really
not
want
even be a
actors-
part of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I really want actors to know that is you could have the best audition for the entire production and not get a role. So
Yes.
you have to learn to audition and
Let
leave
it go.
it.
Yep.
Leave
Let it go.
Let it go.
And then if you hear, you hear. If you don't, you don't.
Yes.
Oh, I have a pet peeve. Should I be pestering you about if you picked me or not?
No, I will reach out to you after you send in all your information in one file, and attachments all together, in one email.
Okay. And this is one of them. There are some companies that contact everybody who auditioned and says you didn't get the role, and there's some that do. If you're an actor, don't try to get involved in that. There's nothing worse than sending out a bunch of emails saying, "Hey, you didn't get the role." And when you have several hundred of them, it's also tedious and time consuming, which is expensive.
And if you've got the role, I imagine you will find a way to get a hold of them. So
Yes,
we will
absolutely.
we will get a hold of you.
Yeah.
How often or does it happen when somebody does audition for a role that you do watch their audition and maybe not quite a fit for that character? Do you ever then say you're not a fit for that character, but actually
That happens
think you
all
fit
the
this
time.
character.
Yeah.
Actually, that happens all the time where if you have a couple of people that you want to audition for, where you can audition for different characters. But if you audition for a specific role and then I see that, oh, hey, this person is better fit for this role, I'm going to move them from there to here and see who can fall into place with that.
And if there's time, you'll send them new sides and all that
Yes.
stuff. And if there's not time, we will evaluate that
Based-
audition for the other.
Yep, we'll base it off of the audition that we already have had. But I do try, if I do have time, to send out the new one because it does help.
Yes.
right?
Because you can see a different approach to how they handled that character than the character that they had already auditioned for. So.
Yes. Totally.
Sorry, I'm.
No, I love it. Like I geek out on this nerd stuff all the time.
These topics I geek out and then I start rambling. I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay. I just want to make sure that we nugget it so that so an actor that's interested in really getting this have an opportunity to say, oh shoot, I didn't even think about that. So yeah,
With auditioning with lines, is it important, obviously, to have somebody reading with them, or if they can't, do you want them to, as if they are talking to somebody? Is that a pet peeve when you're looking at these auditions?
I would prefer to hear the other side. It can be you recording yourself. If you don't have somebody to read with you, you can record yourself saying the other line and then use that in your audition while you're reading off the
Yeah,
other lines.
you're essentially both players.
Yes, you're both players.
So the Home
I would
Alone
prefer
radio.
you do that.
Yeah.
Because
Actually, there's a fair
Yeah.
amount of people that have to do that. You know,
Yes.
that's not the easiest thing to always get a reader. Yeah,
Right.
come over to
That's
my
what- that's what I
house
mean, like
for
you
no
said.
apparent reason
Yep.
so I can shoot this and then read these lines to me.
I mean, people are busy, so then they get
yeah.
a second one.
What
tied
about
in.
as a reader if I get really into it? Do you like that?
You know, normally I would say it's not good for the reader to push in and make the actor, like feed off the actor and
Yeah.
bounce. But I will say that there has been auditions that we have really liked that have had the reader do that. So
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, I will say the same thing. If you do any of the bigger companies, if you have a reader that puts a little too much emotion into it, that's probably not going to be a good thing, because they want to see what you can do without somebody feeding you. Because on set, you may end up with a dud as your scene partner, which happens sometimes, and we want to know that you can carry that and deliver it without somebody actually making you do it.
Yes.
Because it's easy to hit the ball back when it's hit back, but if you're getting blue every
Right.
time, you still got to hit that back as if they were, bam. You
Yeah.
know,
Has a reader ever? Have you ever sought out a reader because they sounded really good?
we actually have.
did.
We
But
have.
and they broke all the rules.
They broke all
They
the rules.
actually came in frame on the audition,
Oh, okay.
and we
Pushed
actually
it.
did inquire about the reader
We did.
being available for the role in case we didn't get who we wanted
Oh, that's
for
funny.
that. So absolutely,
Funny,
yeah,
isn't it?
it is funny, but yeah, nothing that I would recommend.
Yeah.
It's one of them things that I would
Those are
say,
rare.
you be very careful. And again, you can get away with a little bit of wiggle room on an indie film, but when you audition for anything national, anything with a if it says Fox after or something like that, stick to the rules. Don't get frisky, don't get
Yep.
froggy. They will move on in a heartbeat. So let's do a quick summation here because our time is almost up. We're gonna bring in another guest after this. But so you're looking for in an audition.
Read the directions.
Truth. Well, oh yeah,
Yes.
obviously
Read
read
the
the directions. Read the directions.
Follow the directions.
Follow the
Follow.
directions. And before you ask any questions, make sure that the questions are not answered in the instructions.
How many emails and Facebook messages should I send you about one topic?
One, please.
How many emails for my photos, resume, and
One.
whatever?
One.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then the performance itself, you
Mhm.
base it on the first cut is
Truth,
okay.
fit,
Yep.
screen presence.
Okay. I
Like
think that sums it up pretty
Mhm.
well.
Is there a
and,
test at the end of this?
right? No, but I think it's important. I think it's important to know because, I'm going to say this myself. The reason why I wanted to touch on this is because I had a really weird thing happen this summer. I was kind of offered a role, and I was like, "Oh, cool." And then I'm like, "Can you send me a script so I can look at it?" And he was like, "Oh, can you do me a favor if I send you a side to read?" And I'm like, "Okay, I thought you offered me a role." Yeah, sure, I'll read. Yeah, nothing formal or anything, just like lay it down. And it was a really vague character, and I said, I kind of don't even really know, like, what does this mean? And he was like, oh yeah, I mean, just whatever. And it didn't sound like a big deal, and it's somebody I know, so I thought that's just, I don't have to get super like.
Right.
They just want to kind of see me as the character. And it was about something that was seemingly kind of funny. It was a UFO type of thing or whatever. And I was like, I don't even know how I'm supposed to feel about the UFO that I saw. And I was really like confused. So I laid down an audition that was just how I felt. Really vague, kind of plain, but truthful. And then I sent it in and I was like, man, that's not me. I just don't do that. I make a bold choice. I assemble the character and I make an audition. But in this case, it was because of how awkwardly and funny it happened. I made I sent in vanilla, and that's just not a good choice. And I can tell you, all of you actors out there, trust me when I say this, they get 100 vanilla for a role. So if you pick vanilla, you gotta be incredible vanilla to get picked. So make a bold choice. Decide your backstory, even if they didn't give you one. Make a bold choice about how you reacted to this, and stick to it and be true with it. Because you can be connected and big. You can be bold.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yes.
Interesting.
And do a much better job. Don't hand in the vanilla because you feel that you don't have enough information. You're going to get passed over on vanilla anyways. Make an impression and make bold choices. I definitely want to say that because I didn't. And I think I excused it for being the situation, but I should have done better.
So do you think it threw you off more, though, just because
I
the part was
definitely
offered?
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was really awkward how it all happened.
Yeah.
And it's somebody that I'd cast in movies, so I kind of thought, this is
in
going to
the
go,
bag.
yeah.
That's not how it should go.
No, but I'm saying
Right.
if when somebody contacts you with that,
Yeah.
you're kind of like, yeah, okay, cool.
Well, I think there's a lot of that happens. I mean, you work with people and get to know how they can.
You're
how
comfortable,
their character-
yes.
Yeah.
So you know that they
As
can
somebody
fit
who's
this
seen
part.
me perform live and seen my films, you'd assume that they would know my work enough that they would probably know. But
make it work.
but again, I'm not going to place the blame on them. I laid down a vanilla audition that was just not good. It was safe and boring. You remember, it was safe and boring. And I didn't, the whole thing of dressing for it, I didn't do any of that stuff because it was kind of like, all right, kids are in bed. Let's get this so we can get it in. It was only like 3 lines and you had no context. So I'm like,
And about a UFO.
yeah. And I had no context of what it meant. And I didn't even try to figure out what it meant. I just said, all right, did you see that? It was so like, anyways.
Sorry.
And I'm pretty
Yeah.
strong with my expressions. So I bugged me. So tip to you actors, don't do that. Don't do what I did. It's not good. All right. Any last words of advice before we bring in our next comedian?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Awesome, guys.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in.
Bye.
Happy
That was great.
birthday.
Thank you.
Yes, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Well, so our next guest actually happens to be Katie and my manager.
Yeah.
And he's a manager of a fair amount of the higher end talent in the Metro Detroit region.
Yes.
He's also acquired some bigger names in the industry, and we'll let him touch on some of these things when he comes in. But this here is Bennie Taylor from John Tomus.
Yes. Welcome.
Welcome. How are you? I don't want to mess up your hair, but put on your.
Let me see which one. Right. Yeah.
There we go. And then
Awesome.
thank you for coming in. So again, John Tomus is a fantastic company that has started with very humble beginnings and making a ton of noise now.
Oh yes.
Getting people cast. You want to hop a little closer to the
Oh
microphone?
sure thing.
And you can tilt that down if you want to.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we
So
go.
just a few years ago, kind of getting into this, and now you have name talent, lead people in TV shows. It's kind of all over the place. out
Award-winning
of-
directors.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But how on earth, first of all, do you even do that in Michigan?
You know what? Off prayer and a hope. It's virtually, like you said, it's virtually impossible to do.
Yeah.
It's just working with good people, determination, and not giving up.
Mhm.
Just seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and just keep walking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's to me, it's like I never even thought there would be a manager that would be worth having in Michigan. And I don't mean to say this negatively about agents, but there's so little quality work here
Right.
that you start thinking that there's little quality talent here,
Right.
and you're wrong.
Wrong. Yeah.
Dead
You
wrong.
are wrong.
Yes.
And to the point right now that you have transcended Michigan, both with your clients and with where you get people work. I was in Nashville, Tennessee. Had some fun down there, hanging out, doing a little gig with Homicide Hunters,
Mhm.
and I'm a little bummed out because my character would have had a few more
Yes.
episodes. And of course, when they had an episode, I was either at a premiere
Yeah.
or out of the country or something. So it would have been nice. But the fantastic opportunities. How do you even find these things?
Well, you research. Being a manager, you have a real big task ahead of you. Most agents, they have access to the breakdowns. They get the sites to go on to. Managers, unless you're in New York, L.A., maybe Chicago, you don't have as much power as the agents do out in that
Yeah.
area. So you have to be very resourceful. And we're in Michigan. We're blue collar. We work hard. So
Yeah.
it's. I mean, when I started off, I was looking on Craigslist. You know, I was looking on Craigslist for projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it helps when you start gaining relationships. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to call the agency, call a casting director. You know, be nice, be respectful. Just ask, hey, how can I go about this? I have a client, Harley Wallen, that is perfect for this project. How do I submit them? And more than likely, 80% of the time, they're gonna say, okay, do this, do that. I mean, you know, so it's just about pushing hard, working, and establishing connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. I want to kind of make a switch and start talking about auditioning because
go
it
for it.
is one of them things that is a tricky spot, and there's no classes necessarily for it. Well, there are,
Right.
but a lot of people I think are winging it.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you heard, I was talking about my little story where I was kind of somewhat offered a role, and then it wasn't a role, but could you read? And then I read, but
Vanilla.
we had a good
Yeah.
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 And it was just like, damn it, why did I do that? Like, that's
Yeah.
not like that's not me. But I would love to hear. Talk me through what you think from an actor's perspective. One of your clients, because I've done auditions with him in the room, and he will, first of all, he will push you.
Yeah.
You will read beforehand with Bennie, and he's gonna give his 5 cents, sometimes a dime. so there's no way to get away from that. But before I even get into your office to do the audition, what do I have to do?
Well, I would definitely like a actor to prep for the role. Usually there's a breakdown for the character. Try your best to come up at least 3 scenarios what this character would be like. Think of a way that the casting director, you think they would want this character to be played. Think of a way that you would portray this character. And then think of a way mixing everything or just totally off the wall. Yeah, you have, like you said, you have to be ready
Yeah.
for anything because you can go in there one way, especially in live auditions, and they be like, nope, we want to read it this way. And all of a sudden you're screwed, So
I love
research.
that though.
Yeah. Research, take your time with things. Just a lot of people don't watch okay, if I'm going to be a firefighter, they don't sit and watch television and look at real firefighters. It's just the prepping. The
Yeah.
prepping time is like the best thing you can
Yeah.
really do. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. So, yeah,
the auditions that you get the audition or the sides, you send it out to your clients who you think
Mhm.
would be a good fit for it. They then come and read to you, or they send you. Do they film themselves and send it to you, and you review before sending on? How's that process?
There are 2 ways to do it. They can either come down to the studio and we can work on it together, or if they're not able to, or some people stay pretty far, so
Yeah.
they do it at home. And what I go through, sometimes they give me different versions where I can go through and edit it up and then send it out. But when they're in the office, I'm like Harley said, I'm going to grill you. Nothing's coming out that office that's crap. It's either going to be 90% or 150%.
I love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And he just did an audition recently. Killed it. I mean, he's like the perfect villain for every film. I mean, dude. Yeah.
You got a niche for it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's so bad.
I
Yeah,
think
it's just-
I enjoyed. I don't know why it's so weird, and I've talked to some of the other people about that are really good people, but they play such good bad guys. Like Jan Birch, this is the Stairmaster, and he plays villain, and he plays the devil, and everything else. He's this vegetarian, mellow, Bob Marley listening, chill little dog owner. That's Jan. He's the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
And every time he's on screen, you're like, oh, it's funny.
And Harley's the same way because it's crazy. Like when I was watching Bennett's song, it's like I'm waiting the whole time. Like, when is he gonna grow horns? Is he gonna be? He's gonna kill somebody. I wasn't used to it, But he did it. It's like. But when he plays the bad guy, it's like I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, like, yes, that's my client. He's killing it. I'm sorry, I'm getting off subject.
And then you got to hold that back while he's auditioning.
Yeah.
He's a really good reader.
Yeah.
He gives just enough that nobody can bitch and complain, but definitely something for me to hit back.
Yeah.
Really, really good. I'm blessed to have an acting wife who understands that too. But man, I'll say this: it is a different level degree difficulty with a real reader. When you go in rooms and you do a live and they're like, would you like coffee with that? And now you got to react as if she was coming after you. And it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
Because you have to essentially decide your whole arc on your own.
Yeah.
And there's nothing, you're getting nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is a casting director, and actor. So he's on all planes right now.
Man of many talents.
Yeah.
So as far as the video quality, when you're getting these auditions, is it, we were talking before about you want a solid background, be in high definition, sound's got to be on point. I mean, those are all things that you look for.
Those are the main three things that you want. You want good lighting, you want good sound, and you want good quality. So background is a very important thing, but it's not too much of an issue as long as it's not too much of a distraction. Like you wouldn't audition in front of a window. You wouldn't audition in front of a fireplace or something like that. Maybe it could be a background, it could be a wall. If you don't
Solid,
have just something solid. As in sound, not everybody can afford great mics like this to work in the studio. I mean, as long as they can hear the auditioner actually sounding very clear, the reader isn't too much important. The reader's going to be helping the actual person that's auditioning.
Right.
And what else do we say? Lighting is
the high definition.
The high definition. Well, a lot of people, everybody can't afford iPhones, unfortunately. You're going to get maybe some 720s or things like that. Like say for instance, sometimes I get an audition from some of my clients who do it on a self-tape on their own, and the quality isn't great. So there's little things I can do with the color, to make it look a little bit sharper than what it was. Like sometimes you get it pixelated and they hate that, So just those are the main three.
That's a good manager too that will actually help assemble and do things. Especially with someone like I'm not a super techie guy. I'll send him the thing. He may have to trim the ends. You know what I mean?
Actually, I think I helped out one Brian Heinz.
Really?
I edited.
I remember. I
think you're out of town and he needed some help, so I edited that. And yeah, I was actually, that was a learning experience for me because I didn't realize, like the editing as far as doing the auditions. I always thought it would, they would want as raw as possible, because then you can touch up from there. So it was interesting to learn, clean it up a little bit, and I tried to do that. But that's an interesting, something I learned.
It's fun too. It's really fun. Man. Once you get a knack for it, it's like, oh yeah. But Harley will give me these auditions where this, you can see everything in the back. I'm like, Harley, no, and I have to zoom in on his face, but it works because the guy just delivered. The main thing is, if you don't have all of that and you're doing your best, deliver. At least deliver a good audition, because sometimes all that is wiped out if you bring in a great audition.
Yeah.
That's the truth part.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely the interesting part, because that's one thing that I was touching on earlier is that for some of our roles, you'll have 30, 40 people auditioning.
Oh yeah.
So truth, even though it's super important, won't get you the role. It will get you in the selection process. But ultimately, if you're not interesting and if you don't make bold choices, it's going to be really hard to get selected.
Right on the nose, yeah.
Obviously, too, framing up I imagine it'd be in the directions, but most auditions you're gonna want to probably just like a head to shoulder type framing, correct?
There,
Unless they're asking for a full, I would
it,
imagine the directions.
it
would
all
clarify.
depends on the casting director. Some will do mid body, maybe from here up. Some want it tight, tight, which is shoulders and
Yeah.
up. Some actually, believe it or not, want full body. I've
Right.
seen it. You
Yes.
know, it's weird. So everybody has their own taste and flavor.
Yeah.
Directions.
Yeah, and I think it also depends on the role. I mean, if you're going to fit a role of an athlete and you go in and you do this, and then they come in and you're like, whoa, this guy's not even in shape. That's going to be a problem. You're going to play, Don Corleone, and you're and you come in and you're this skinny little thing
Buck
or whatever.
09.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well,
That won't work.
And that's another reason why the slate is very important. Even though, say for instance, Harley had a breakdown. He said, Bennie, I need for your client to do this and that. On the slate, just say name and height. So even though they say that, I'll take it upon myself to just, okay, we'll do a shot with name and height, but then we'll show a full body. That way it doesn't go into that, okay, this guy's out of shape. They'll see exactly in the slate before they even go on.
Right.
If they want to push.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I think those things are crucial too, because I don't think it's good for the actor or for the manager if they make a casting and then you get down there and they're like, this guy's, that's not what we ordered. You know what I mean?
Well, and I
They will
imagine
send you back.
that's got to be, I mean, such a major factor for you in your job as far as getting these high quality, because that's your rapport. That's what you're building your company on, is that you're going to send the right auditions forward and build that reputation.
Right.
So when you I imagine you bring some people in, and that's what weighs on you, is you want to make sure you get the right person for it before you even send it forward.
Oh yeah, that's what the submission process. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is a crazy one. Yeah, so you got to make sure that they fit the role, that they're bringing their best, and that's just pretty much it. I mean, just cut and dry.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you brought people in and just said after the audition, I was like, maybe not this one, or I mean, that's got to be part of the job, is not the bad news with the good news, that you brought in and say, we're gonna maybe go for a different
I've had
role.
I had something similar, but it always ended up the same way. I've had people, I've submitted people that I really like. I don't know if I should submit them, but after the audition, I made the right choice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because with these guys, I believe in them. I'm sorry if I see a role when they say African American male 40s, but detective, I'm like, you know what? Let me submit Harley anyway. Just for the simple fact, you never know.
Yeah.
Harley might go in there and just make these people just change the lines. So with my actors or my clients, all of them have special skills. All of them have something unique and different, and I want them to show that. So whenever I see something that's out there and outrageous, I'm gonna go for it, unless it's porn. No.
No, that's fantastic, because there's
Yeah.
some great characters when you read the pilots or you read the scripts of some of these, a show or a movie that were written different.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Shield fan, and Claudette was one of the most amazing characters on the show. That was written as a male. And
Really?
Yes, and had somebody not put her in there for that audition. And that's
Wow.
great that you do that. I think that's a fantastic
And-
trait to.
Can I hit on something real
Yeah.
fast? You would have never just looking at Harley. Would you have imagined Harley being the Penguin?
I could see him pulling it.
Harley played are we censored? Hell out of the Penguin. It was, at first I submitted was Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
It was Commissioner Gordon.
And I got the role.
And he got the role, but then the director was like, you know what? Hey, what about, I said, try Penguin. And oh my God, that was like the best choice
long
ever.
monologue, and it was funny to me because I was a young Batman fan, and then I kind of faded away because I felt DC, a lot of them were too robotic and unrelatable. But those old comics, and then finding out that this is going to be more old school and
Yeah.
original Batman
Detective.
and show that, and I was like, oh no, you got to be kidding me! Now I want this really bad. I had already read for Gordon, already got the role, and the writing was really good, so I was already really tempted, and I was deadly afraid of losing both because maybe they brought somebody else in for that. So when the whole reading for the Penguin thing came on, I remember reading it going like, oh my God, this is coming out like butter.
Yeah.
I don't even understand. I've never done anything like this in my life. I'm not good at voice distortion.
Could have fooled me.
Because it fit. It all just fell in place. And that was, and I love that role. And hopefully Jordan will bring me back like we've talked
You're
about.
coming back.
Yeah.
You're coming back.
Because I, from what I gathered, there's an episode where I'm going to be the main villain, and I'll be in bits and pieces of other things. But man, in
What
all
is this
honesty,
You've never
it
seen
is
it?
so
No, what is this in?
cool.
You gotta
oh
show.
my God!
You gotta show.
You need
him,
this.
Harley.
Yeah. they
It's
haven't
called
sent me this.
Batman Nightmare. It's a fan film. You can watch it on YouTube. There's 2 episodes out. One killing Joker,
Yep.
and the original one was
I
Nightmare.
can't. I don't know if I can say anything, but it's another one coming that's gonna blow your
I
shoes
think I
off.
saw the Killing Joker one.
Oh.
Is that the Erica Hovland one?
No.
Okay. I'm mixing that up.
No.
Was you involved in a DC project or something like that? I could have swore you were. I don't know.
Mask.
Revenge of the Mask.
Yeah.
Mask
Mask.
DC?
No.
No, that's
Oh.
Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and they had a premiere the other day as well, and
Yes.
I knew quite a few people that went. You went. How was that?
Actually, unfortunately, I did not make the theater premiere.
Oh my God! I'm leaving. I'm
Hear me
leaving.
out. Hear me out. It was my daughter's opening night for Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
kinda-
Can't miss
Yeah,
that.
well,
yeah.
I
yeah.
had to go. I had to
Forgiven.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, from talking to Lance and everybody involved, it was an amazing night. They had a huge turnout, and it is on YouTube now to
Yeah.
check out.
Sweet.
It's a 40-minute episode too. It's like
And that's too short. I tell you, the movie ends, and
It has a heck of a following.
You're
too.
ready to
yeah,
go
it
for more.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a
it's-
lot of people really giddy, and they do great work. So Lance Cowis and Dylan Sides are that's who's making it, and they're kind of Detroit staples in film, anyways.
Yes.
They do some really cool stuff, and we got to get them on here one time and
Yes.
and have them talk about it because it's really cool to see what they're doing and the quality of it.
Well,
It's the same as Batman Nightmare.
Yeah, it
You
looks
just don't
really
expect
good.
it. You just
Yeah.
don't expect it.
I always encourage people to go read the comments on the Revenge of the Mask 2 trailer when they put that out, because the comments, nobody thought it was a fan film. They thought it was stolen footage from movies
Wow.
to make it look like there was a Revenge of the Mask coming out. And Istvan, I got to give him credit.
Oh, he's
Lenny,
a
who's
magician.
Istvan is
that
a
is my
magician.
boy. I
Yes.
love working with that guy.
Yeah.
And the thing I love about this is a lot of people are used to the Jim Carrey one.
yes.
But nobody reads the comic.
No.
The comic
Yeah.
version of the
Not that.
Mask
Much
was
darker.
brutal.
yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
A few people that I've talked in to see it, they were expecting a comedy. Jim Carrey. What was that?
Yeah.
Dude,
That blew the
man,
doors off
Yeah.
the building.
He was killing people in the comics.
Yes.
I'm like, geez. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I'm babbling.
No, but kind of wrap it back here for you. I mean, the work you're doing. I'm new into the Detroit industry where I do my podcast and started talking to a lot of the actors, getting involved, talking to the directors, and the amount of people that have tied back to your agency. I mean, you're doing the right stuff because
Oh my God.
Thank you.
I see them all, and it's like, hey, I'm going into this show and this, and they're all assigned with you, and so whatever you're doing
Thank you.
very well. And the book of talent that you have is very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I said, everyone I tie in falls back to you. So,
Thank you.
did you get into this? You said it was just a couple years ago, as far as
No.
The end of the beginning of 2014. That's when I officially went. Yeah.
now, were you in acting before? Do you find that?
Oh
you just,
man, look up the
Oh,
super
man.
suave
Ah,
model.
that
Bow,
picture.
bow, bow.
I was a model
In a
I was an
boy
actor,
band.
and I was a singer. So I was in the
Love it.
industry. Yeah. Actually,
And he's actually in a couple of my films.
exactly. yeah.
Love. Wait till you see Ben Song Holiday. You're gonna be a happy camper.
I got
It
a
looks
chance
so
to actually have a
good.
scene with him.
nice.
I was so nervous. I'm like, oh God, the director's right here. I'm like, and Harley, he's a nice guy. Don't get me wrong, he's a nice guy. But on set,
He's business.
you do not mess with this guy. Harley will throw you off set in a minute.
Nancy always says we have no leadership vacuum. That's,
And it's crazy. He's like, yeah, he'll curse you out on set. Then I'm door closed. Hey, what's going on? You coming over for lunch? I'm like, really, Harley?
I don't curse
Yeah.
people out, but I do expect that excellence.
he pushed.
There's no other way to do it. You know, and I'll tell you why, and I don't want to wrap up too much time on this, but I remember making our first feature film, Deceitful, and sitting in in the audience, and we had a packed house at the Imagine Theaters, and everybody's giving me a high five, and wow, that's so good, and this and that, and I walked out of there completely different. Like I was all yeah, but I walked out and I was talking to Jerry Hayes afterwards, and I said, you know what bugs me? Nobody would have walked into that theater, watched that film, and thought it was playing here. I was comparing myself to other Michigan indie films, and that was when I realized the shift that I can't think about Michigan indie anymore. Nothing wrong with Michigan indie, but I have to compare myself to what's on the big screen. Otherwise, I'll never land there myself. And you know, here we were with you know, Eternal Code was the first thing to actually hit the big screen and stay in theaters for you know,
some time now.
yeah. So that was really cool to have that experience. But that's because I shifted my thinking, and it's the same thing that Dylan and Lance and Jordan Foss is doing with their stuff. You can't even believe it's fan film. You watch Batman Nightmare or any of the things, it'll blow your mind, and you're gonna say, no way, this is a fan film.
Yeah.
You know,
I think technology has advanced so far that if you can use it properly, you can make compared to what it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I mean, the editing software and effects that you can do now, and it's amazing what's packed into an iMac.
Yeah, not just to mention film cost. Like when it was
Yeah,
film,
oh
my
you were
goodness.
done.
Right now with digital,
Yeah.
But it all goes back to the one thing that makes a film, your cast, your
Yes.
crew. And when you pick the right people for the right roles and with the right team, I don't care if you're filming on the phone. It'll be a heck of a production.
Steven Soderbergh just shot a couple films on an iPhone that are like mind-boggling.
Not to
Really?
mention the new iPhone commercial that's out there. It's the John Wick director with the snowball fight.
Really?
That's all filmed on an iPhone.
Yeah.
I've been in the closet. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So you're a manager, correct?
I am.
Yeah.
Can you explain to people watching that are new to this the difference between an agent and a manager?
Okay, so agents are with SAG. Agents have a specific role, and that's to get you auditions. You know, their job is to pitch you, to get to the casting directors and negotiate contracts. You know, the stuff that the final stages. A manager helps groom you. A manager help you get those agents. In certain states, a manager can has just as much power as an agent, like in California, New York. Man, we do everything else. I mean, pretty much, if you have an agent that has this area right here, the manager is filling the rest of the circle up.
Gotcha.
I mean, so we can do PR stuff. You know, we help. I don't know most managers, but I know I do. I help with auditions.
Yeah.
I even help talk to casting directors. I call them like, hey, you need to be looking out for Harley Wallen. This is why
Right.
I get the buzz going on. I make sure that they're getting the right auditions from the agent. And if Harley say, hey, Bennie, what's going on? This is the Matrix casting. And I'll get on the phone with the agent like, hey, we need to find out this. I'll find out the director, the casting director, this. And I'll say, hey, you need to contact this person. And we're off too. It's like a teamwork. So a manager is the guy that's close to the actor.
More hands-on.
Yeah, very hands-on. It's not easy.
It's a
job.
guide. I mean,
No,
really, it's somebody guiding you half of the time.
Yeah.
And helping you find the right places to go and when to say no.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And stuff like that as well. And also, I want to say this because this is a bad habit for actors. We would do this for free because we love the hell out of this. So as long as we could afford to, and people will take advantage of that, he will make sure they don't.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And not only that, he's going to send, Kaiti to film somewhere. He's going to make sure she's safe. That
I'm probably there with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. And he definitely, I think he goes above and beyond on all those levels of being a confidant, a partner, and all those type of things where he really grooms you, like you said, and guides you.
Now, how do do people contact you? Obviously, you have the Facebook page, you have a website. What is it that you're looking for when people are reaching out to you? Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, well, I would
Sorry.
comment on that. One quick second. I do have a website. I prefer that they mail their information in, headshot, resume, maybe like a flash drive or a demo reel, something like that. I do want to see what you have. Now, to comment on what he said, everybody, listen. I know you're sending stuff out. Please do not think I am ignoring you, but I get a lot of submissions. And with a managers, we take a small amount of people. Agencies have the hundreds and hundreds of
Yeah,
people.
it's a cattle
Managers,
call.
we got to keep it small. But yeah, that's the whole process. Sometimes with with certain conditions, I'll look at you via email. I'll look at some stuff online, see how it goes, or a lot of times when you have the celebrities, they reach out to you like personally. So it's a lot of different ways. But
Right.
I'm coming with new divisions. They're going to be new managers up under me in different cities where we're going to work with green actors. We're going to work with children. We're going to work with older actors, and it's going to be a great process.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is a new year. This is like some goals coming out in the next year.
It's already been in works, but yeah, the whole goal. Oh my God, I
Fantastic.
can't say
Always
everything,
expanding.
but it's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely a fantastic connections. Finds a ways to get you auditions in places you didn't really know of, which is really good. But like I said, and we touched on this on the audition portion about not bugging. I would assume that if I send you the stuff, I need to trust that you will get back to me when it's time to get
Right.
back with me,
Mhm.
instead of sending 15 more messages and emails
Yeah.
and letters and smoke signals. You're probably good with just the one.
And the hard part about that is Harley's doing the right thing. He'll send a message maybe to me like, you heard anything, but you got to be real tedious with these casting directors. You hit them up and you give them everything they need from the audition, and maybe just a manager, not actor,
Yes.
a manager or agent probably send a nudge. Hey, how's your day going? Hope all is well. Just to get them like, oh, okay, yeah, we want to let you know about this. And while these guys are just sweating and crazy,
Yeah.
but one
There's
thing I
work
like
behind the
about
scenes.
a lot of my people is they have amnesia. Once they do an audition,
We have
they
that
forget.
because of him.
Yeah.
Because he says, don't come asking. I'll let you know if you need to know.
Yeah, because you'll drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Trying
Yeah.
to figure out that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just move on to the next.
And I do like your Facebook page, the videos,
thank
the
you,
tips
thank you.
that you're putting out there for people. I think that's
Yeah,
some very
definitely go
useful
check that
information.
out.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. Appreciate it.
No.
All right. Well, anything
I think
else you
we're
want to
hitting
touch on?
time.
Any words of advice? Any up and coming or somebody maybe making a step in their career? Not
There-
necessarily in regards to you, but for their own sake in growth.
Oh my God. Actually, you've helped on this situation. I have seen Callie just come from nowhere. Calhoun. I don't know if you ever met her before, but
Not yet.
she is freaking electric. And then you know what? I wish we had more time because I could.
Wait till you see her in Ben and Song Holiday too. There
I
are some
already know.
scenes where she, because we all have a touch of that third eye where
Mhm.
we feel uncomfortable looking stupid or doing something that's not within our realm, but it's in the character's realm. So guess what? Get over it.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
she did, and man, she just crushes it.
Yeah. I mean, she was awesome. I was there on some certain scenes, so she killed it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of my clients, I can't say right now, but they're about to be pop. I
Yeah.
mean, there's some really good people out there that's about to be discovered. I mean, like, it's crazy. Yeah. So
That's
All right.
fantastic.
So
Yeah.
any piece of advice for the people out there?
don't give up. Do not give up. Acting is not the easiest job in the world. All because you either move to Atlanta or move to LA. Everybody else is thinking the same thing you are. So you just have to make yourself that much better than what you were before. You're not going to be the prettiest. You're not going to be the most talented. Just take your skills and work with what you have and make it the best that you can be, and don't give up. you're going to get rejected more times than you get accepted for anything. So rejection is the best the best teacher, excuse me, in this game.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
I think drop the mic on that one.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. So yeah, let's thank Bennie for coming in,
Thank you.
and
Thank
Kaiti
you,
for
man.
coming
Nice
in.
meeting you.
Thanks, Harley.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
buddy.
coming, taking a long drive to come up here. Now you
Oh
know.
my God.
Now you know how far it is for me to come to you.
This is why he don't come to my office. I'm like, I got you, Harley.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Thank you,
Have a
thank you,
good
thank
one.
you. So
Another successful episode.
yeah. So what did you learn? What did you not know before we started this show about auditioning?
You need to be prepared. You got to read the directions. Don't be afraid, and don't give up.
Yeah.
That's a big. I mean, that's the biggest thing is don't be afraid of rejection and learn from it.
Yeah, in all honesty, you got to grow really thick skin. When he says you're going to get rejected more than you get accepted, that ratio is absurd. And if you read some of the people, someone who's playing the Hulk lately, he started and hundreds of auditions and not making. So this is the reality. All you're learning is that this was not the right time.
Right.
This was not the right role.
Or just not right fit. And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. You'll find
No.
what fits.
Yep, absolutely. I think just like we said on the acting thing, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. I think this is the same thing here. I think the role is there. It's just you just got to find it.
Yes.
You just got to find it, and when that opportunity is there, you got to kill it. And I'll tell you one thing too that we didn't touch on today, but sometimes you get a role for what you did somewhere else, and I was a big I talked at length about this when I was managing, when I was in the business world. I always told people, you got to do the job to get the job, to get the title. And that's so true. And I can tell you right now, I remember when we first started, we could barely pay our actors anything. And it was like, here's $25 gas. That's like what we can afford. The people, obviously, if they didn't have the talent to take the steps with us, then they would fall behind, unfortunately. But for the people that had the talent, they earned their jobs on those sets, delivering those performances when they went above and beyond without the paycheck. Because I believe in that. I'm a big fan. If you're gonna make me the janitor, I'm gonna be the best damn janitor you have.
Right.
I'm a firm believer that you just got to deliver at everything you do, and when you do that, the doors will open, the opportunities will come. So don't take your jobs lightly, because this one might not have paid your bills, because you got to roll, and it's only $25 a day gas money, and they feed me, and I get a copy for my reel and an IMDb credit. Yeah, but on that set is a cinematographer that tells the director on the next thing about you, or that director does something and then he gets more money and now he can pay you. These things matter.
It all matters.
It all matters. Don't ever mail a performance in, ever.
No, and there's roles like Thandie Newton, who played, she had like a 2-minute part in Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
And then by Mission Impossible 3 was Tom Cruise's, like the leading love interest of Tom Cruise, where, she had a small part. You make the best out of everything. You put in the effort, and hard work will pay off. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I'll have one last one. So Chris Riley, who is in Enigma as a detective, actually auditioned for the role I played. And he laid down an amazing audition that blew me away. And we were almost thinking about restructuring the film to make him play the role. And when we laid it all out, we felt like the rest of the cast got weaker because we had to change out other pieces to make him fit the role. And we decided that I'll play the antagonist and he'll play the detective. And the film Abstruse was written because of that audition.
Wow.
So essentially what I saw was a prequel to American Psycho. Essentially, how did we get to this lunatic?
Right.
How do we build him? What happens? And that's kind of abstruse. I wrote an entire script with him, and I told him, you don't have to audition. And he still wanted to. But I'm like, you already did. You You just don't
And it's
know it.
fantastic because now you're visioning the character as you're writing, and you form it around that. Yeah.
Yeah, but so that's why even an audition that you miss, trust me, that you just keep killing it. That's your job as an actor. Just keep killing it, and everything else will take care of itself. The opportunity will come when it's time. And I think we gotta wrap up. I think we've gone over.
We always do.
We have a tendency to do that, I guess. So yeah, Rob Holland,
Yes.
Attack on Show. By the way, check it out.
Yes, make sure. I just released a new episode with Bobby Lannon, who's he
Bobby,
plays Big
good
Head in
actor.
Revenge of the Mask. Part 2, he's fantastic.
He is.
So you wanna check
He's
that out.
actually my favorite in the Christmas coupon movie.
Yes.
And he's up there in Nain Rouge as well. Good, really good actor,
Very
and I'm
talented.
really happy he's never auditioned for me, and I was really excited to see him on screen because now I can kind of like know when I'm gonna say, "Hey, Bobby, this is a good
You got
role
this
for
one,
you,"
yeah.
and not you got this one because I still got to see
Right.
it. But here's definitely a role that
Yeah.
you should lay this one down.
Very talented.
Um,
Yes.
Very, very good actor. Good job on that,
Yeah.
and all the roles that I've seen him in so far. So let's say goodnight and
Good night.
thank you and have a
thank
good
you for
one. And
watching. Access
yeah, Merry
Harleywood.
Christmas, Happy Holidays,
Merry
Happy New
Christmas.
Year, whatever the Kwanzaa, and there are so many things now. So we just stick to the Happy Holidays.
Enjoy the
I
next
guess.
2 weeks.
Right.
Be with the ones you love.
Amen. All right. We'll talk to you later. Good night.